Welcome to our reflections for this week. I hope and pray that you know how faithful God is to you and that He will never abandon you because of His great love for you. This week we are continuing our series on the fruit of the Spirit as we think about the theme of faithfulness. In Galatians 5 verses 22 and 23 we read, "The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness and self-control." A person who is faithful is described in the dictionary as someone who remains firm in their belief in or support of a person, organisation, idea or activity. Hence, fruit for this week is the pineapple because it is one of the firmest fruits. If someone is faithful to us, then it means that we can depend on them. And as we will see shortly, because God is faithful to us, so we are called to be faithful in all that we do. So let us read from Psalm 36, verses 5 to 10. Your unfailing love, O Lord, is as vast as the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches beyond the clouds. Your righteousness is like the mighty mountains. Your justice like the ocean depths. You care for people and animals alike, O Lord. How precious is your unfailing love, O God. All humanity finds shelter in the shadow of your wings. You feed them from the abundance of your own house, letting them drink from your river of delights. For you are the fountain of life, the light by which we see. Pour out your unfailing love on those who love you. Give justice to those with honest hearts. Amen. This week, the fruit of the Spirit that we are thinking about is faithfulness. And we are reflecting on how important it is to be faithful. We all have different relationships in our life with the people we know. And as Christians, we all have a relationship with God. Faithfulness is important in all our relationships because without it, they would break down. In fact, without trust, loyalty, and commitment, any friendship would hardly be a true friendship. Being faithful means doing what we say we will, and not walking away from our friends when things get too tough. Dogs are often seen as being extremely faithful. I am sure you know the story of Greyfriars Bobby, the dog in Edinburgh who, after his master died, faithfully slept next to his grave for 14 years. God thinks our relationship with Him is important. He wants to be our friend, and He is completely faithful in all that He does. We know that He will never leave us. We know that we can always trust Him. We know that He is loyal to us. We know that He is committed to us. We know that He loves us. God cares deeply for each one of us, just as a good parent cares for their children. His love for us means that He wants what is best for us. In the passage, we are reminded of God's faithfulness to us. Your unfailing love, O Lord, is as vast as the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches beyond the clouds. regardless of the pain that God feels when we go our own way, God always remains faithful and continues to love us. As Paul wrote in 2 Timothy, if we are not faithful, God remains faithful because he cannot be false to himself. Our actions do not affect God's faithfulness, but God's faithfulness should affect our actions. God is faithful to us, and he wants us to be faithful to him. He wants us to put him first in our lives. He wants us to be committed, true, loyal, and steadfast to him, just as he is to us. God has given us a lot to do in the world, for we have all been given the responsibility to share and model the good news of forgiveness and love in all that we say and do. Whether or not we think it is wise or will achieve anything, our calling as Christians is to do what God wants us to and leave the effectiveness in God's hands. Mother Teresa was once asked, "How can you bear the load without being crushed by it?" To which she replied, "I am not called to be successful, but faithful." That is worth remembering in all the challenges that we face in life. We are not called by God to be successful, but we are called to be faithful to him. We need to trust that God will use all that we do and say in order to fulfill his purpose. We so often fail to see how important an encouraging whisper is to someone or a small act of kindness. Yet God takes these seeds of faithfulness and he uses them to bless many more people than we will ever know. As well as being faithful to God, we are all called to be faithful to each other. As I said in the beginning, we need to be loyal, dependable, true and trustworthy to those around us. We are called to live lives of faithfulness and to ensure that we remain faithful in our friendships and relationships. All that God has done for us should definitely encourage us to do what he wants us to. We have been shown faithfulness by God, therefore we are expected to show faithfulness to the people we know. Of course, we all make mistakes, and we all let people down from time to time. But if we forgive people as well as say sorry and ask their forgiveness, then our relationships will continue to strengthen. God is our model, and since he forgives us when we are unfaithful, then we need to forgive those around us who make mistakes. Also, God's faithfulness is a great reassurance when everything around us changes. It can be so concerning when things don't stay the same. Change is part and parcel of life, and yet whether something is beginning, changing, or ending, we can always depend on God and know that everything is safe in his hands. There are many things that change in life, but one thing which is certain in our world is that the sun will rise, the sun will set, and the sun will rise again. We may not always see the sun each day, for it can get hidden by the clouds, but we know that it is there, and that we can depend on it rising each morning and setting each evening. Therefore, let us hold firm to our faith in God, because we can always depend on him. The clouds may come, the seasons may change, But we can always trust God, even when circumstances alter or when the path that we are walking on takes an unexpected turn. God's promise to never leave us nor forsake us is what helps us to be strong despite all that we experience. It is God's faithfulness that inspires us to be faithful in our relationship with Him and in our dealings with other people. Shall we pray? Loving God, faithful One, so unchanging, we bring you our prayers, knowing that you love and care for us. Keep us close to you, our rock for eternity. Keep us strong in your deep peace. Keep us safe with you, our great protector. Father, even in our cries, you hear the longings of our hearts and know what we need. We thank you for your everlasting love for us and for bringing us into your family, so that we could experience your love and care now and for all the days to come until we are called home to be with you forever. It is so good to belong to your family. It is so good to be able to praise and bless you for your faithfulness to us. Your love for your people is the same, regardless of what happens in the world, and even if we turn our backs on you. Your care never stops. Your compassion never ceases. Your interest in us never wavers. And so we come to you and ask that you would watch over all those who are close to our hearts, those for whom each day is a struggle because of illness or pain. Please help the medical staff to find ways to improve their lives. Be with those we know who are lonely, those for whom each day is hard to endure. And be with those for whom each new day brings their heart pain as they miss someone whom they loved and cared for. May you comfort them and surround them with your faithful love, now and always. Loving God, be with those in this world who suffer because of war, disease, or natural disaster, and who are separated from their families. Help them to get the support that they need, and be with the various charities that are working with them. Also, we ask you to strengthen and protect those who are faithful to you, despite suffering persecution because of their faith in you. They face dangers that we can only imagine, and yet remain firm regardless. Help us to keep our brothers and sisters in our prayers, and may they continue to know your presence with them. Father, we thank you for hearing our prayers and for bringing us into your family forever. May each day that we live bring us closer to you as we experience your love more. Help us to remain faithful to you just as you are faithful to us, and help us to continue to be faithful to our family and friends. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So as we continue to reflect on God's faithfulness, let us sing the hymn, Great is Thy Faithfulness.
is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning new mercies I see. All I have needed thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Summer and winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning new mercies I see. All I have needed thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thy own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning new mercies I see. All I have needed thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning new mercies I see. All I have needed thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
So let us continue to remain faithful to God and to one another as the fruit of the Spirit grows in our lives. And until we meet again, take care, stay safe, and may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Amen.